Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eleni. If you're new here, I'm a second year dental student, and today I'm very excited because I wanted to give some advice to you guys who are starting your first year of dental school and hopefully help you guys with the transition into dental school. So before we get started, make sure that you guys are subscribed down below so you're not missing any of my dental school vlogs or videos on advice for dental school. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about are the supplies that I used in my first year of dental school to help me. And the very first thing, which I think is very important, is having a planner. I personally use the Passion Planner. I love this planner. I've been using it since college. And basically what I love about this planner is that you can basically write everything in your day by the hour. So I love to write in when all my classes are, and I can see and map out when I'm going to study, what time I have left over, and basically just write everything that I'm going to do in one day. And the other thing that I love about having this planner is that I love the monthly calendar, and it's so great to be able to look at your month at a glance. So I love writing all of my exams, all the assignments that I have due in a month, and that really helps me stay organized. So I highly recommend getting a planner, or maybe you can use your online calendar, but having any kind of calendar is super helpful to help you guys stay organized. And I think that's so important in dental school because you are going to be having a lot of exams, quizzes, and assignments. So having a place where you have everything super organized is going to be very helpful. And to write in my planner, I use the Papermate pens, and so I love using these pens for my planner, and they have so many different colors. I used to use these pens for my notes before I started using my iPad, so I love these markers if you guys are looking for markers for your planner or for making notes. So Papermate pens are the best. I love those. So something else that I think is really helpful is to have a little mini whiteboard, and I would typically use the whiteboard in the library, but since we're obviously not allowed to go to the library right now, I love having a whiteboard that I can write on at home, and you can probably find these at Staples or Amazon. So I love using my whiteboard to write things out as I study to help me remember things, and I think it's an excellent tool to use when you're studying. And another thing that of course I have been loving recently is my iPad. I got this in my second semester. Basically all of my classmates have an iPad that they use to take their notes in class, and I also have the pen, of course, and I use my iPad to take my notes to review for an exam. So I use the app called Notability, and I will write review notes in the app, and I find it super helpful, and it's just so much fun writing out my notes. I love drawing pictures, and I can even put in pictures from the slides into my notes. So I love being able to label the pictures and graphs in the notes in the Notability app. So having my iPad has been such a great tool for me, and I highly recommend if you're thinking about getting an iPad to get one. The iPad is a great tool for not only taking notes in class if you like doing that, but also reviewing your notes and writing down notes for studying for exams. So I love having my iPad, and in case you guys are curious, I got the iPad 7th generation. I wanted the cheapest iPad that I could get, and I just needed one that worked, so obviously this one works great, and yeah, I've been loving this so much. So next I wanted to talk to you guys about resources that I used and textbooks, and to be honest you guys, I didn't use any textbooks. The one textbook that I used, the Netter Anatomy textbook, and I actually used the one that was in the anatomy lab. I didn't buy it for myself. I found it super helpful to use it in the anatomy lab, and I don't know if everyone is going to anatomy lab because of the circumstances, but I found the textbook super helpful for me in anatomy. And if you don't feel like buying the textbook, you can always go to Netter Presenter, and I would use that through the Tufts library. And basically what I would do was find the page that I was studying with the anatomy on it and print it out, and then I would label it myself. And for me, I'm a very visual person, and obviously for anatomy you need to be able to see everything, so I found it super helpful to print out the images and then label them myself. And I love that to also quiz myself. I would print out multiple of the same picture and just write over and over again to make sure I could label everything. So the Netter presenter through the Tufts library, I don't know if every school offers this through their library, but I found that super helpful. You could also probably just Google the image and I'm sure you'll be able to find something close to it. So if you don't want to buy the textbook, I highly recommend that. Also, just going off of that for anatomy, if you guys are able to still go into the lab, I highly recommend spending as much time as possible in the anatomy lab, because I felt I learned the most when I was there, talking things over with my friends, looking for them and dissecting. So if you guys do have that opportunity, make sure that you are going to the anatomy lab, because I felt I learned the most by being there in the lab. And besides that, I really didn't use any textbooks. So yeah, I think that the most important thing to use when you're studying in dental school is the actual slides and presentation that the professors give you. I felt that keeping it simple was the best way, and just strictly following what the professor said helped me the most. Occasionally I like to use Quizlet for flashcards, and I know another great resource is Anki, but I never felt like I needed to use that. I strictly like to write review notes and just study from those and write things out on the whiteboard, so I never felt like I really needed to use Anki. But yeah, basically I just stuck to the slides that the professor gives because they're the ones who are going to be giving the exam, so I felt like it was better for me to just stick to what they said. And typically at Tufts, most of the time professors would give a review, so I would follow the review slides and make sure I knew everything in the slides, and then I would also supplement with the original slides as well. So yeah, I just like to keep it simple, and I would stick to the professor's slides. If there was something that was confusing, occasionally I would go to YouTube and I would search the subject that we were going over, but typically I would just stick to the slides, and I never really needed to use a textbook. Also, I think that I am very lucky because everyone in my class is very nice and they share their resources, they share their study notes. So I never really felt like I had to look to outside sources because I already had so many study guides and so many sources given to me. So I never felt like I had to look outside of what was already given. So that's a plus of dental school. I never had to buy any textbooks. I remember in college I always had to buy so many textbooks each year, but at Tufts I never really had to buy any, so that was great. So going into preclinical now, I know some of you guys might not be going into preclinic until a little bit later, but some advice I would give for preclinic is to never compare yourself to anyone else. Everyone's going to pick up the hand skills at a different time, so just focus on yourself and really don't look at anyone else's work. You might want to look at someone else's work for advice or maybe see how they're doing it, but don't compare your work to someone else's because it'll just make you very frustrated. And like I said before, everyone will pick up the hand skills on their own time, and so it won't do you any good to compare yourself to anyone else. Another piece of advice going along with that for preclinic is to practice, practice, practice. I would practice over and over again until I got it right, and sometimes I wouldn't get it right until the night before the competency. So never give up, and if you feel like you're not getting something right away, you have to put in extra hours. So make sure that you are finding the time to do it. Make sure that your time management is good for that. So make sure you guys are practicing, and if you guys are having trouble with something, make sure to ask the TAs. I was always asking the TAs for help, asking them to show me how to do something, so don't be afraid to ask the professor or a TA for help. And I always felt like I learned the most when I was asking someone else to show me how to do something. So those are my top tips for clinic, and now I kind of wanted to go into my tips on wellness during the first year of dental school. And I think the most important thing is to remember to always exercise or have some sort of movement to change up your day. I would sit in class all day, of course, and at the end of the day I felt like my brain was fried. So I would love to go to the gym right after class and bike or run on the treadmill, and I felt like that gave my brain a break. So I think it's super important to take a break from studying and from classwork and do something where you're moving your body and not just sitting, because you're going to be sitting down all day. So it's super important to find that thing that helps you move your body around, whether it's running, weightlifting, rock climbing, even just walking is good. So I highly recommend doing 3 to 4 days of exercise per week. I typically wouldn't exercise the night before an exam because I was cramming, but I would try to get to the gym at least 3 or 4 times a week just to help change up my day and make sure I get some movement into my body. The next thing that I highly recommend is meditation. I use the app called Headspace, and it's a great way to get into it because they have guided meditations and they kind of teach you how to meditate. So I've been loving this app. I've been using it for 2 years now, and I really feel like meditation helps me clear my mind. It's helped me, I think, with my schoolwork. It's helped me in relationships. It's helped me have a clear headspace, and like it's helped me be happier in life. There's endless benefits to meditation, and I think it's just so helpful and it's so good for your overall health. I love to meditate before bed because it helps me calm my mind down and it helps me wind down from the day. So I really love to meditate before bed. So I highly recommend that you guys get into meditation. And I know that for some people it sounds a little weird to sit down still, but trust me, if you can get into it, it's the best thing that you can do for yourself. So yeah, I highly recommend doing meditation. Another thing that I really recommend is making sure that you guys get your sleep. I say 6 to 8 hours. I typically don't get 8 hours anymore because I do have to commute, and so I have to wake up early. But if you can get 8 hours, I think that it's super important to make sure that you're getting your sleep. I never sleep less than like 5 hours. I always make sure that I have at least 5 hours of sleep, because if you're not sleeping, then obviously you can't function and you won't be able to use your brain as well as that you could if you were sleeping. So I think that sleep is so important as a dental student. You need to be able to perform at a high level, so you need to make sure that you're charging yourself and charging your brain in order to be able to be on point next day at school. So I think it's so important to get those hours of sleep. Another thing that I think is so important in dental school is to make sure that you are taking breaks and that you're not making everything about studying. So typically after an exam, I would love to go with my friends and explore Chinatown. We would find a fun place to eat and we would just relax after the exam, kind of unwind. And I typically wouldn't study the night after an exam, so I think that's something that's really important, is to take a break after you're studying for so long, because that stress will build up, and if you don't take time to release all of that stress, then it's just not going to be healthy for you and you can experience burnout. So to make sure that you can sustain that hard studying throughout the year, make sure that you're taking enough breaks and you're enjoying yourself between exams. But of course you want to stay focused and not take too many breaks. So finding that balance is going to be very important during dental school. And if you ever do feel down during dental school, or you're frustrated, or you're super stressed or have anxiety, make sure to reach out to your family or call your old friends from high school or your hometown. Making sure that you have that support system is huge in dental school, because there are going to be times where you are going to be feeling very down and maybe not as motivated. So having that person that you can talk to, whether it's your family or some friends, is going to be super important. And going off of that, when you are starting out dental school, make sure that you are friendly with everyone, because those friends that you are going to make in dental school are going to be your biggest support system. I have a group chat with my friends from dental school, and we're always chatting about what's going on in dental school. Your dental school friends are going to be the ones that know exactly what you're going through. So anything that you experience, they're going to be the best people that you can go to. So having those really close friends in dental school is super important. So when you guys are starting out, and if you aren't meeting right now and you're going to eventually meet everyone later on, make sure that you're super friendly and you are nice to everyone, and you want to make a good connection with some people in your dental class because they are going to be your best support system. Having those friends in your class is so important because they're going to be the ones that, remind you about assignments, remind you about exams, help you study for exams. They're going to be the people that you have fun with after the exams. So having friends in your class is so important. And another thing is just to take care of yourself in general. So not only do you need to exercise and sleep well, just keeping yourself clean and hygiene is so important. Obviously, make sure you're brushing your teeth and you are showering and cleaning yourself, because if you are taking care of your body and you're making yourself feel good on the outside, you're going to feel good on the inside. So maybe taking a shower after a long day will help you de-stress and relax. Doing a face mask and taking care of your skin is going to feel really good. So just taking care of yourself, as like taking care of your body, is also going to make you feel really good. So that also includes eating well and making sure that you're feeding yourself the right nutrients. I do like to eat cookies and stuff like that, but I make sure that I'm not eating just junk food. I also make sure that I'm eating salads and I'm eating protein and vegetables and fruits. So making sure that you're taking care of not only your mental health, but obviously your physical health and your body, and remembering that you need to take care of yourself first in order to properly function and perform in school. I think it's very easy to forget that you need to take care of yourself before you can actually perform well and study well. So I think taking care of yourself physically is super important during dental school. And dental school is very tough, and it's going to be a struggle, and it's going to be very hard, and it's a challenge, and it's all those things. But I think that if you can take care of yourself physically, mentally, it is just going to be such a great experience overall, and you're going to learn so much, and it's such an exciting time. And I'm excited for you guys to start your first year of dental school. So I want to make sure that you guys are getting the best of your experience, and I think everything I talked about really helped me. So it's important for you guys to find the things that work for you and help you get the most of dental school as you can. It is 4 years and it seems like a long time, but it is going to go by very quickly. I can't believe I'm already through my first year. It's important to get every little thing out of it that you can. You don't want to be stressing and having anxiety all the time, so you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in the first place. Make sure you have the right supplies and resources. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. And always, if you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to me. Don't be afraid to DM me or comment down below if you guys need to. Also, make sure that you guys are subscribed so you're not missing any of my videos coming up. And I'm so happy to have you guys all here on my channel. And I think this is a great community and another great support system for you guys during dental school. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching all of my videos, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.